On my way to the next site, which is over there, I decided to take this road, which is pretty quick. As you can see, it's straight. I came across this pipe over here, and this is water pipe. And then it reminded me, the water pipe fed water to an airmail runway over here called Kelly Field. And the water came from over here at Valley Well. So let me go ahead and get back in the truck and take you over to Kelly Field. Almost to the field, which is over here. Stopped here. I believe this might have been the sign telling people where they were. The only reason I'm saying that is it's kind of interesting how the posts are set up and the pipe, and that's looks like it should be hanging something. Yeah, right now, we'll get a little bit closer and I'll show you, but there's a corral there and there's a rancher. There we go. Let me get my bearings. Over there on the other side of that mountain, Sandy Valley, and that's where that rancher is located. That is what's left of the runway. And there's that large corral. It's made with railroad ties. Now, all the information I have on this site comes from the San Bernardino County Sun from 1930. It says this place had a 5-room building plus a hangar built along with running water coming from up there in the Clark Mountains. I have been unable to find the foundation for a 5-room building or a hangar, but the field was named after a gentleman called Fred Kelly, who was a pilot for the Western Express Mail, who originally landed in this area or around this area when he was suffering mechanical problems. The runway stopped appearing on aeronautical maps at about 1938. It hasn't appeared on any map since. That's the reason why I'm showing it. It's just not many people would realize this is a runway, and that it was a very important runway for running the airmail from Las Vegas, which is over there, to Los Angeles, over there. I still got a little ways to go. I need to head up to those hills over there, and I'll meet you up there. I was going to go to this site this fall, but I figured since I am leaving for a trip to Central Nevada July 8th to do some filming, I wanted to get some video up on YouTube for you guys before I take off. And since this is only an hour and 45-minute drive from my house, this made a logical choice. Now, this mill was built in 1937 when copper was discovered in the district up here in the hills over there. On the hills on the other side here was gold deposits, which were discovered in 1894. But they turned out to be so minuscule, most people left the same year. And here, so whoever Dayton was in 1937 helped construct this mill. And the little mine up there, it looks like BLM has come in and closed off the shaft. I'm afraid they probably closed off the tunnels also. We'll find out eventually. But this was built in the 30s. This section here was where the crushers were located. And here was just probably the power shed, tool shed, you know, maintenance. Somebody's been collecting all the crucibles. Depends on who you talk to, what part of the country you're in. This right here was the foundation for the hoist, for the shaft over there. Unfortunately, we can't go into that. This is an active claim. And what's funny is when I was checking the MRDS, which is the Mineral Resource Data System, which is maintained by the USGS, and it allows you to look up active claims in a particular area. The person who has this filed is a guy that I know. He's a 3rd or 4th generation Nevada miner. And he must have found some gold, because he's not going to do copper, lead, or silver. As he says, I'm in my late 60s. This was a couple years ago. I'm in my late 60s. I'm too old to be going after something that doesn't make me money. So he usually only goes after gold. So these were the vats that they used to get the copper out. And it was a combination of chemicals, usually acids, to which they would dissolve the copper, turn it into a salt, and then they would use something else, usually a zinc or a tin, depending on the mineral or the leach that they're using, to precipitate the material out. And it's really neat when you watch it. It's almost like watching a snow globe, but it's black snow, not white snow, fluttering to the bottom as the precipitant is absorbed by the leach. Unfortunately, because the events that happened in 1894, there's nothing left of that site. That was mainly just tents. Like I said, we like to go down there. There's a padlock just right over there. Yeah, see? What I'll probably do is give him a call and see if he'll let me go down. When I first came out here, that was still standing. The problem is, if you can't tell, you have a bunch of brain trusts that come out here thinking it's fun to shoot up this stuff. And then there's these same brain trusts that would start complaining, little foundation, will start complaining when a site is deemed off limits and turned into a wilderness. But it was their own actions that caused that event to happen. Like I said, all these buildings and foundations come from the 30s. I don't like what they're doing, but that actually looks like art. Probably could sell that in an LA art gallery for a couple of million. And considering a person bought a banana stuck to the wall. I'll never understand that. Another foundation, and a nice little camp. I don't have any record on how many people were at this camp at any given time. Oh, this one had a little stoop. Or if there were any families. And from the dump, it doesn't look like there were any women here. Now I'm going to go ahead and head on up to the other side of this hill, because there's something else I want to show you up there. I'll meet you up there. I'm assuming this was built in the 1930s with the copper mine, but I've been unable to find any history on this tell you this, it's a very substantial building. Essentially, it's a cement building with a rock just crammed right in there. Yeah, I wish I could give you a history of it. When I first came here, this wall was still standing. I must have had like a sink there. I'm wondering, though, if this was an assayer's office. Because they had water, a workbench. Never know. See? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue following the road around, and some of the original gold mines from the 1890s are on the other side of this hill. I'm going to go see if those are open still. So I'll meet you over there. The road started to disappear down there in the wash. And about the time I got to this point, you can see it continue, but it ends pretty quickly. So I decided to park here to make it easier for me to get out. So one thing I hate is backing down a trail. Let's go down a ways. It looks like I'm just going to have to come back. The map that I was looking at showed 2 tunnels. It does not show an incline shaft, which is what this is. And in reality, these aren't tunnels either, they're inclines. I'm gonna have to come back with some rope. I'm not gonna try to shimmy down that. I went ahead and left the other mines, which are on the other side of that hill. And I decided I was gonna go ahead and see if the tunnels up here are still open. It looks like they've closed off the shaft, so there's a possibility that the tunnels are closed now. And this, I have no clue what model it is or what make it is. It's still pretty neat to take a look at. Used to be a lot more on it, but over the years people have taken bits and pieces. They used to still have the floor pan. When I first saw it, I still had the floor pan, the transmission. Yeah, this thing does not weigh much. Still really neat to take a look at those though. Well, there's the old and the new. Let's go ahead and continue on up, and hopefully the tunnels up there are open. Well, the shaft is up there. Not really to see much see up there. It's just big heavy duty girders to keep animals from falling in. And there's some foundations over here where they had some buildings. So there's more of the vehicle. Old stove. So there's the firewall for the truck, or the car, or whatever it was. Here's more of the body. This looks like they just kept running it until it couldn't run anymore. Oh, okay. It's a spindle. So the kingpin would go through here. There should have been one on the other side here. Look at that hunk of iron. Hot. Yeah, unfortunately it's starting to get very hot out here. So there's some ornate work for the stove. It's kind of neat. So most of these cans are from the 20s and 30s. Because you got a combination of them. So you got soldered bottom, which is what that is, from the vent hole when they were pasteurizing it. When they were done, they would just solder it. But all the other seams, that's crimped. That's soldered. So yeah, this is condensed milk. So you're looking at about the 20s into the 30s. Wish there was more of the markings on the back. Oh, battery cores. Ah, God, that's hot. What do you expect? It's hot and those are graphite. Oh. A couple foundations. And it is barred off. Kind of figured as much. Oh well. With that then, I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. If you made it to the very end, I really appreciate it. I'm also glad to be back. Oh, this was one of the copper deposits. little copper oxide. But if this gets you out to explore, have fun. And most of all, be safe. Oh, so cool. Fire brick. And I'll see you on the next one.